Headline: Explosive clashes in downtown Los Angeles. LAPD arrest violent agitators after protests erupt. Outside Federal Detention Center. Tonight in Los Angeles, California, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in one of the largest protest actions in recent U.S. history. What began as demonstrations against federal immigration enforcement escalated into intense clashes outside the Metropolitan Detention Center, forcing the Los Angeles Police Department to take decisive action. The setting: people first gathered peacefully in the afternoon near Los Angeles City Hall, answering calls for a national day of protest. The protest was part of a wider nationwide movement demanding the removal of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and reforms in federal immigration policies. Demonstrators marched toward the federal detention facility in downtown LA, intent on making their voices heard. Escalation of violence. As the crowd reached the federal detention center, tensions spiked. A segment of the protest turned confrontational. Some demonstrators began throwing bottles, rocks, and other objects at law enforcement officers. A large construction dumpster was pushed to block a loading dock entrance at the facility. Federal authorities declared the crowd an unlawful assembly and responded with crowd control measures, including pepper balls and tear gas, to disperse the more aggressive elements. The Los Angeles Police Department also placed the city on a tactical alert, meaning all officers were ordered to remain on duty amid the unrest. Arrests and police response. Despite multiple dispersal orders, some protesters remained and continued to clash with police. In response, the LAPD moved in and made arrests of violent agitators, individuals identified by law enforcement as engaging in or encouraging violent acts against officers. Although the department did not immediately release the exact number of arrests, officials confirmed that several people were taken into custody for failing to disperse and for violent behavior. City officials urged calm and stressed the importance of peaceful protest, even as they condemned violence. Los Angeles leaders reminded the public that peaceful demonstrations are a constitutional right, but attacking officers and crossing into violence risks public safety and undermines the message of the movement. National context. This protest in Los Angeles was part of a national ICE Out Everywhere action, with demonstrations taking place in cities including New York, Minneapolis, and Philadelphia. These nationwide rallies were organized in response to recent deaths of demonstrators in Minneapolis during immigration enforcement operations, sparking increased activism and public outcry. What happens next? As the night continues, law enforcement remains on high alert in downtown Los Angeles. Most of the crowd dispersed later in the evening, but a small group returned to the federal facility later, and local authorities continue to monitor the situation for further developments. Conclusion. Tonight's events in Los Angeles serve as a stark reminder of the deep tensions surrounding immigration policy in the United States, tensions that have now spilled into major public demonstrations, confrontations with police, and national debate. This story is still developing, and updates are expected as authorities and community leaders assess the aftermath.